Hey guys, welcome back to the Sharpening Guide. When it comes to knife sharpening, people usually talk about the big things like the sharpening angles, sharpening stones, or steel types. But sometimes, it's the small details that make the biggest difference in the end. And today I want to talk about one of those small but important details like the sharpening oil. And just to be clear right from the start, this is not a sponsored video. I'm simply sharing my personal experience. But in the end, what matters is that everyone makes their own decision about what to use. Do your research, listen to other opinions, try things out. I'm just sharing what works for me the best. As you can see, I've tested quite a few oils, and the ones shown in the video are not even all of them. I'll be honest, I used to completely underestimate this topic. For me, oil was always just something I thought was unnecessary to buy. I never really understood the difference between the types, so it just felt like an extra expense. Maybe useful, but not essential. But the more I worked with high-quality sharpening stones, the more I realized it's the seemingly minor details that separate good from perfect. And as is often the case in sharpening, no single factor will get you to the end result. But if you get lots of little things right, consistent angle, proper technique, the right stone, and yes, the right oil, then it all adds up. And suddenly, your sharpening goes to a whole new level. So feel free to watch the video all the way to the end if you want to learn more, and of course, to find out which oil I currently prefer using. So, why use sharpening oil at all? Simple. It reduces friction, carries away metal swarf, keeps the stone clean, and improves the overall sharpening flow. A thin film of oil between the stone and the blade helps the stone glide evenly, especially during the finishing stages. It also prevents metal particles from embedding into the stone surface, known as clogging, which helps the stone work more efficiently. In the end, this saves you time, reduces wear on the stones, and extends their lifespan, which is definitely worth it, especially with the more expensive stones I use. Ultimately, it also helps the stone reach its full potential. Using a high-end sharpening stone without oil is like buying a jet engine and trying to power it with orange juice. Bold move, but don't expect takeoff. And honestly, I don't want to sharpen dry. For one, not all stones are designed to be used dry. Some require a liquid medium like water or oil to work effectively. And two, I don't want fine metal dust all over the place. And I definitely don't want to breathe it in. The thought of fine steel particles ending up in my lungs? No thanks. Now here's where things get interesting. Not all sharpening oils are created equal. Some are thick, some are thin, some are water-based, and some are just random household substitutes. Thin oils spread easily, penetrate the stone surface well, and carry away fine particles, perfect for fine-grit stones. Thicker oils stick around longer and bind larger particles better, which is essential for coarse grit stones, where you're removing a lot more material. So technically, you'd need 2, maybe even 3, different oils to get the best performance across all grit levels. Honestly, even I find that way too annoying. That's exactly why I tested so many oils. I wanted to find one that's been formulated to work across the board, without noticeable compromises. And I'll admit, I'm kind of weird when it comes to this stuff. I hate it when oil clings to your fingers like super glue, messes up your whole setup, and worst of all, smells awful. Call me picky, but if I'm sharpening a bunch of knives in a row, the last thing I want is to sit in a stinky oil cloud that singes my nose hairs. For example, take the Hapstone Magic Oil. I tested it on my MS1 stones, and honestly, it was a complete fail. It's supposed to be a water-based oil, which, to this day, I still don't fully understand, because oil and water don't really mix. But technically, that's what it claims. In practice, though, it evaporated super fast, and the swarf dried out and stuck to the edge like some kind of gray gunk. The feel was bad, the results worse. It just didn't work for me. This one here, for example, is quite thick, which just doesn't work well with finer grit stones. I'll still use it up when I'm sharpening some cheap kitchen knife with the coarse electroplated stones, just so I don't completely waste my money. I've already gone through 1 full bottle of it. Now, this one from Diapoli, for example, I actually like it quite a lot. I'd recommend it more for the finer grits, where I think it performs really well. But honestly, I just don't want to juggle different oils for different grit levels. I want one oil that works well across the board. And don't get me wrong, we're talking about really subtle differences here. But if you've seen my sharpening videos, you know I'm always chasing perfection. I'm just a bit obsessive when it comes to this stuff. Then you've got people using motor oil or gearbox oil. And I'm not joking. That ranges from risky to please don't do that. These oils are full of additives that can react with your stones or break down the bonding matrix over time. Even worse, they often contain toxic chemicals and heavy metals. These oils were never meant to be handled barehanded, let alone inhaled or used around food prep tools. So unless you want your sharpening stone to double as a health hazard, stay away. Sure, there are cheaper options out there. Baby oil, for example, actually works pretty well. It's unscented, reasonably thin, and super affordable. If you're using budget stones and just looking for a step up from using water, or you simply don't want to sharpen dry, it gets the job done just fine. But here's the thing, I use expensive stones and I have high-end knife steels. And I want to get the absolute most out of them. For me, this isn't just a functional task, it's almost a meditative process. I enjoy sharpening and I don't want to compromise on something like oil that has such a clear influence on performance. I've been using the TSProf Sharpening Oil for quite a while now, and honestly, it's the best all-around option I've found so far. The viscosity is spot on, not too thick, not too runny. On coarse stones, it binds swarf effectively and doesn't drip off the stone. On fine stones, it's light enough to let the grit work properly without clogging. Plus, you only need a few drops, it's incredibly efficient. I use it on my TSProf Alpha stones, which, by the way, use a resin bond with a rubber matrix. That gives them a smooth, but still responsive surface. I also use it on my MS1 stones, which are metal-bonded diamond stones with high durability and aggressive cutting action. And even on electroplated diamond stones, the oil performs consistently. If you really want to take care of your stones, I can also recommend the TSProf Cleaning Oil. It's specifically designed to lift embedded swarf out of the stone's surface. Unlike sharpening oil, it uses a different carrier that penetrates deeper, breaks down buildup, and restores the stone for its next use. I find it especially useful after long sharpening sessions or when the stone starts to feel loaded. So what's my conclusion? Sharpening oil might seem like a small thing, but for me, it's a crucial one. It's often overlooked or dismissed, but it can make a real difference. Not because it magically makes everything better, but because it helps unlock the full potential of your stones. And again, this isn't an ad. I'm just sharing what works for me. I don't get paid for saying this, and I have no affiliation with any brand. I just genuinely like the results I get with these products. That said, it's important you find what works best for you. Do your research, try things out and make your own conclusions. If you're just getting started, baby oil might be enough. But if you're like me, using quality stones and high-end knives, then this little detail might just be worth your attention. Not because it solves everything, but because it helps you get everything else working as it should. And that's what sharpening is to me, not one secret trick, not one miracle product. Just a bunch of small, smart decisions that add up to truly sharp results. So now I'm really curious, what kind of oil or alternative do you use for sharpening? Are you on Team Motor Oil, olive oil, or have you somehow discovered the holy grail of sharpening fluids? Let me know in the comments, I'm genuinely interested. And if you enjoyed the video, or at least got a laugh out of me ranting about smelly oil, don't forget to hit that like button. And subscribe while you're at it. It's free, completely risk-free, and 100% oil-free. Plus, you won't miss any of my future sharpening adventures. Until then, have fun sharpening and have a great day. See you soon here on the Sharpening Guide.